Okay, now that they've announced that they're going to do away with the Wedge 2.0 formation, they are just going to combine the special inscriptions into the original Wedge formation. They're going to enhance the formation with its buffs, and then we're going to have 8 special inscriptions on the Wedge formation. You're going to have the Pantheon level, which is the Wedge level of inscriptions, and then the Heraldic level, which is the Wedge 2.0 level of inscriptions. And so from there, we're going to try to figure out how to mix and match. What's good for your rally? What's good for Qin? And we're going to tell you, because Davor has put it out. We're going to go through all of it because I knew this was going to happen. If we're going to combine them, there are ways that you can be really efficient and get the same amount of value by sticking to maybe the Wedge original special inscription. So stick around while we go through it all right here. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I do videos for Rise of Kingdoms constantly, okay? I'm a sponsored Rise of Kingdoms content creator, and I love this game. You guys know me. I love everything about it, and I love the nuances and different things that we do, and this is going to be a video that's going to help a lot of people out. So throw a like on here if you would. It helps out the video, helps out the channel a ton. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so, and you can hit that bell if you want to get any alerts when I put out content like this. Join the legion of fans that are subscribed. Well, we're in the middle of our April and May video giveaway. So every video, I give away a $10 flux. The easiest way to enter the win, anybody can enter. All you got to do is put a comment down in the video. You can tell me it's good content. You can tell me it's a bad video. You can disagree with me. You can tell me I suck. It doesn't matter. You'll be entered to win when we announce the next video who wins the $10 flux. And for this video, it is going to be PP1425. Chatsky, put it down. Please don't teach this to people. Well, I'll have a card in the top. This is in a reference to my video on the art of ratting. That's my last video I did, and how you can get crazy kill points and really help out your kingdom by killing farm reinforcement marches. So go check out that video. Great job, PP1425. You win the $10 flux. I'll get with you on the Discord, and we'll get that figured out. Okay. So let's get rid of that and let's really talk about this, okay? We've got Wedge 2.0, and the new update that's coming, honestly, this weekend, I think, is going to basically take the special inscriptions and the rare inscriptions from Wedge 2.0, and they're going to put them in the original Wedge, in the original Wedge codex, if you will. And so now we've got 2 different special inscriptions for each slot that we're going to be able to choose from. Okay, does everybody follow? Makes sense? And they're going to increase the level of the Wedge formation on its bonus skill damage up to 12% instead of 5%. That's all great. And so from there, we wanted to figure this thing out. Well, our boy Davor started cooking on this immediately. And I told him, like, hey, if they're going to do it this way, and they're going to take, Pincer, and they're going to take Delta. Delta would be the next one. And instead of doing a Delta 2.0, they just add a special inscription for this slot, for this slot, for this slot, and for the emblem in this slot. Then we can just mix and match, figure out what works best. Because as we're seeing, there's some different discrepancies and different things with the 2 different special inscriptions based on the Wedge here and then the Wedge 2.0. So now Advantage Advanced will be sitting right here with Hunter, and you can pick which one you want, okay? So Davor starts cooking on this, and guys, I have his link down in the description. Go support our boy, okay? He has got his setup where you can go to his toolbox and check out all the cool stuff that he does. Just support the guy. Buy him a cup of coffee. It's great. And so with that, Davor put out something really, really interesting, and here it is, okay? Let me pull this thing up. This is mixing the Herald and Pantheon series. Should Archer Rally leaders invest backwards? Okay, this is a question basically for Archer Rally leads, all right? If you are an Archer Rally lead and you've already converted back to Wedge 2.0, these are all going to be converted back to Wedge 1, and you're going to get your conversion stone. So then you can decide if you want to go full in to convert it back. It's not going to cost you anything because you've already paid for it. You're going to convert back to Wedge 2.0 or back to what we call the Herald series of special inscriptions, or if you want to keep the Pantheon series, which is the original special inscriptions for Wedge 1.0, right? And so from there, Davor went through it, and here is what we found, and our boy Davor was cooking on this stuff, okay? As we go through this, it does a whole adjustment. It explains all of this, and you guys can go this. I'll have a link to this in the description, okay? And the methodology he uses is that he's going to use a Shapur Ash rally, all right? And he's going to run through like 5,000 simulations and what he's got. And there are some different aspects when it comes to this, and he's going to go through all of it, okay? But here's what you have to understand. The main issue with Advantage Advanced is on the second part of the inscription, okay? The 10% extra multiplier on damage is related to staying above 50% remaining units in your particular march, okay? And that's this thing right here. Where is it? And basically, you're going to get 10% more skill damage as long as you have 50% more units. However, in a rally situation, you're going to drop below 50% of units in the captain's march. So once it happens, the target's going to take 2.5% more damage for the next 2 seconds, okay? So when that happens, all right, it is going to, it's a debuff, but it's definitely more powerful and potent to have 10% more skill damage dealt than it is for the target to take 2.5% more damage total. Okay. And so there's a little bit of dysfunction there when it comes to that. All right. So let's go through this and kind of get this thing figured out. In a rally, the condition is usually removed quickly with reinforcements and troop loss, all right? And so it changes things a little bit. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how Shapur with Hunter as a difference. Hunter gives 10% extra multiplier when dealing direct damage to a single target. Well, that's what our boy Shapur does, all right? Which is assumed in this case on a pure 1v1 rally versus garrison scenario. But Shapur works differently because he's got a defection effect. This effect makes him deal additional damage over time. This is not counted as direct damage, so you don't have to worry about that. And these damage ticks are not multipliers by Hunter's second part. And then Ashurbanipal's active skill is multiplied, okay? So let me kind of help explain that, all right? When you're on the rally, okay, and let me come over here. I think I've got this thing set up on my Zuge. When you're on the rally, oh, I've already converted this to Wedge 2.0. All right. When you're on the rally, you get this multiplier, and it really works well with a Shapur Ash rally, right? The current Archer meta rally. And it works really well because you're going to hit that uptime with Asher as a secondary a lot of the time, almost all of the time, okay? Which is great because you deal direct damage to a single target, that's Shapur. And then Shapur's other damage does not count as direct damage. And then the damage is increased by 10%, okay? Which means that when Asher hits, he does 10% more skill damage. It's great, okay? And so from there, Hunter has got some viability when it comes to this. And this is what Davor's saying, okay? So when we have this, you go Hunter versus Advantage Advanced, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. All right, we ran the numbers and considered the DPS. The result, Hunter was more effective by around 2.9% more DPS in a clean 1v1 scenario. So, you're getting into RNG when the percentage is that low, but the bottom line is that Hunter is going to perform just as well, if not better, than Advantage Advanced. That's standalone by themselves in a rally situation. If you add swarms to the structure you're rallying, then the damage debuff from Advantage Advanced becomes more viable because Advantage Advanced does more damage and does a damage debuff when you're swarming the actual garrison. However, passive effects from the same source do not stack. So you could also simply leave this debuff roll to the swarming marches wearing Wedge, or you could leave the debuff roll to a march like Belisarius, who's doing 12% all damage debuff on the target. And I'm not saying the passive effect from the same source. That's from other people's same situation with Advantage Advance who are swarming with Qin, or who are swarming with Huo or a Nevsky who also have Advantage Advance, okay? Hunter plus balance versus Advantage Advance plus maneuver, okay? Maneuver at ease is really interesting. Let me explain. All right, now I'm nerding out a little bit here, but everybody just chill because we're going to figure this out. This is on the flag slot, okay? And the user's troop gains 2% damage resistance and 2% smite damage resistance. That's great. Within 5 seconds after using an active skill, for every 3 basic attacks and counterattack counterattacks dealt, the next basic attack have its damage converted into direct damage, and instead of the damage is equal to 150% of the troop's basic attack damage factor. 150% of basic attack is like a 300 damage factor, and since there's a 1 second cooldown, this fires off all the time. Oh my god, it fires off all the time. And so when you add this, okay, as a direct damage situation, and you combine it with advantage advance, we talked about this, these two are made in heaven, right? These two are absolutely made in heaven. And you're going to be able to, whenever the troop deals skill damage, all right, that's direct damage, it deals 10% more if the target has 50% more units remaining, okay? And so from there, once that drops below, you're going to get more uptime on the buff and the debuff, all right? And so from there, it works out pretty well to have maneuver and advantage advance together. Okay, now let's talk about this and how Davor explains that, all right? So when it comes to this, if you use Hunter and Maneuver together, this is where things get interesting, okay? At first glance, pairing Hunter and Maneuver looks very strong. The main concern is, does adding extra direct damage interfere with Hunter's multiplier? And the answer is yes, it does. So you do not want to do that, and I'll explain it in a bit. But overall, when you look at the Hunter and Balance setup on the rally versus the Advantage Advanced and Maneuver at Ease, all right, the Herald series, which is the Wedge 2.0 guys, Advantage Advanced and Maneuver at Ease, does about 2.3 more DPS, okay? And so again, the difference is pretty negligible. Okay, and so what we're trying to say and how this thing works is that if you are looking to upgrade your rally, all right, then you are in a situation to where Hunter with Balanced is going to perform just about as well as Advantage Advanced with Maneuver at Ease, and that's what you have to consider. So on the actual march, having Hunter here, this is what we'll get an option to do, and Balanced here will do about the same as having Advantage Advanced and Maneuver at Ease, okay? So with that, that's what we find. Now, when it comes to let me see this. When it comes to the other two special inscriptions, there is no question. Horseback action is 12.5% boost to skill damage dealt. That's always going to be better than Intrepid. Okay, not by much, by 2.5% more boost, but it's going to be better. And then Indomitable is going to be better than Unstoppable. Okay, and so from there, the easy way to do this, if you don't have enough conversion stones or you're trying to enhance your 4 specials, is grab horseback action and Indomitable and go cook with the rally, okay? You can do that by running the Pantheon series here with Hunter and Balance, and then run the horseback action with Indomitable. Here, you basically combine 2 and 2 and you're good to go on the rally, okay? Then you can eventually move this, but when you move it, you want to move them both. That's the key. That's the key. If you have these two as the Wedge 2.0 set, or what we call the Herald series, great. And you have these two as the Pantheon series, that's great. But if you want to upgrade these two to the Herald series, you got to do them both at the same time. For you rally commanders or rally players, you have to run it that way, okay? But it gives you some options to say, hey, I can get these two done and move those over to the Herald series, and then I can wait on these two because I still have Hunter and Balanced, okay? So there's your rally application, all right? Now, let's talk about the Qin application, okay? This is very, very important, all right? Because when it comes to Qin, all right, it's really, really simple. This thing here for Qin is so powerful. It is so good, and it's such a discrepancy compared to Hunter at this level. Hunter is great, guys. Don't get me wrong. Hunter has always been great, but it's so much better for single target damage commanders, okay? And so when you look at this for Qin especially, Advantage Advanced, all right, this is insane. This is so good. Because you get this thing for the next 2 seconds, you're dealing a bunch of damage, and it fires off all the freaking time. All right. Advantage Advance is so good for him. The recommendation that Davor has and that I have is that if you can only advance one of these, Hunter, Unstoppable, Balanced, or Intrepid. If you only have the conversion stones to upgrade one of those to the Herald series, then it's Hunter for Qin. This is specifically for Qin. You want to move Hunter to Advantage Advance. That's the first thing you do, even before Intrepid to horseback action. Okay, even before, because the discrepancy there, Intrepid gives 10% boost, horseback action gives 12.5% boost, but the discrepancy on Qin between Advantage Advanced and Hunter is so great that it trumps that 2.5% boost that Intrepid giving an upgrade to horseback action gives you. And so that's what people have to understand. So if you are wanting for Qin, the first thing you got to do is Advantage Advanced. All right. That's the first thing you got to do. It is going to perform so much better than Hunter when it comes to Qin. And then after that, you go with Intrepid, upgrade that to horseback action. You go with Unstoppable, upgrade that to Indomitable. And not many people are running Balanced over here, because Balanced, as we've talked about many times, is kind of dysfunctional with Qin. It really doesn't work well with Qin, because it's so hard to get above that 80% rage, because Qin does his rage based off consumption. All right, so I don't even run Balanced on Qin, or I didn't before Wedge 2.0 came out. I put a double common inscription on that thing. And so from there, now you've got some viability, but then again, Maneuver at Ease is in the same situation. Okay, because you're delaying his active skills based on how this reads. And I've already done in the video, many other content creators have done videos on this. This is good, and it's better. It's much better than Balanced, but it's still a little bit deficient with Qin, because if he gets swarmed, you're going to start delaying your rage cycles. Okay, but that's okay, because if you're looking at this from a Qin level, this is your priority. Get Advantage Advance first, then go horseback action, then go Indomitable, and then you can go to Maneuver at Ease. Or if you don't want to waste one of those special inscriptions on Maneuver at Ease, you don't want to convert that, you can easily just run a double and be fine there as well. So that's for everybody to understand, and which is really good, because just about everybody's got Hunter for Qin, right? And if you've got Hunter for Qin, that's what you want to be able to move it to Advantage Advance, and then work the Intrepid to horseback action, then work Unstoppable to Indomitable, and then work your double inscriptions or whatever. Then you can put Maneuver on there and get a better inscription overall. It's still best in slot, even against a really good double common inscription. Maneuver at Ease is still best in slot, however, not that much better. That's why it's last in priority. So that gives you the idea of how this is going to work when they combine the special inscriptions into one formation, and you have two special inscriptions on each slot. Okay, that's how you want to do it. So you have the rally, and how you can run the rally, and how you can run it just as efficiently with Hunter and Balanced, and then adding the two new ones with down here with Indomitable and horseback action. That's how you run the rallies. For Qin, you can easily look at Hunter. That's the first priority. Then Intrepid, upgrade that to horseback action. Then Unstoppable, upgrade that to Indomitable. And then Balanced, if you even run Balanced on Qin, you can upgrade that to Maneuver at Ease, okay? And it'll be the best in slot. So wanted to get that information out, and I really think it's interesting and a lot of fun, because if they're going to give us, instead of doing a Pincer 2.0, they're just going to give us, let me see. Where's my good pincer at? I've got it over here somewhere. There it is. You got Pincer 2.0, and instead of giving us a whole new formation, we got to go convert everything. Oh my God, what are we doing? We can actually just add a special inscription to the original Pincer formation. They're going to do the same thing with Delta. Instead of giving us Thrasher and then a Delta 2.0 with a whole new set of formation, they're just going to add the special inscription, which is great. So this gives us a chance to mix and match. And now we're telling you, on the Archer Rally and on Qin in the field, that's how it's going to work for the Wedge. And then when Delta comes out, we'll be able to do the same thing, because I guarantee you guys, in Delta, you're going to have one or two of the, especially with Steel Skin, you're going to have one or two of these special inscriptions that are going to be better or just as good as the new inscriptions they put in the game. And then it just costs less for everybody. And that's what makes this thing a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed this video, if you got anything out of it, please throw a thumbs up on here. Helps us out a ton, right? And if you are not subscribed, consider doing so. I also have my Discord link down in the description. And a quick reminder, if you want to enter the $10 flux for every video that I do, if you want to enter that contest to win for next video, just throw a comment down here in the bottom. And with that being said, we love you, broskies, and we'll see you later.